Zendaya. She had to prove something to me. She had to go through a proverbial ground of proving herself to me, and she got through that proverbial ground, and she was able to get through those obstacles, and eventually did impress me. So I am going to go and endorse Zendaya. I'm going to go ahead and give her an endorsement for the future, because to not endorse Zendaya would kind of be being a real bastard and a real critic towards these Disney Channel stars of the future. And it all goes back to how I don't want to see the torch passed from someone like Ariana Grande or Selena Gomez to someone like Zendaya, who I have very little confidence in. So I want to put a little bit of confidence in Zendaya, just as I put in Dove Cameron from Liv and Maddie. A couple of months ago, I said that she was going to be a breakout star for Disney. Obviously, she is, with her single "Count on Me" from the Live with Maddie soundtrack, which is available for download through sites like YouTube and iTunes. It's a great single. Disney did a great job producing her as both an actress and a singer, and I endorsed her, and I'm going to do the same thing for Zendaya. That's the thing about Disney. They just don't focus on the actress or actor part of their career. What they focus on are both aspects of being an actor or an actress or a singer. I mean, look what they did for Ross Lynch, who just got back off a Canadian tour with R5. I mean, he was an incredible actor and just as amazing of a singer, and they focus on a lot of aspects of their career. So if Zendaya falls back on, being a singer rather than being an actress, you got to respect that, because sometimes actors or actresses don't come through with their acting ability, but they are phenomenal singers, and sometimes more than enough. In a lot of cases, a lot of actors or actresses choose the avenue of doing music more so than being an actor or an actress, because that's where their love really was, and that's what made them fall in love with their occupation, their job, what they do for a living, like Ariana Grande and Miley Cyrus have done, along with Selena Gomez, straying away from the actor or the actress kind of lifestyle into the music business. And if Zendaya eventually makes that decision to fall back on her music career rather than being an actress for Disney Channel after she gets off contract, how can you not respect that? How can you criticize someone like Zendaya for making the decision, because she had a love for music, to go back into the music business rather than being an actress? I don't see her being on any more TV shows. If she does end up on a TV show, it'll be a TV show that focuses on a more mature theme than what Casey Undercover does. Her character, Casey, was a great character, but again, the personality was really not there for me, and it really didn't interest me. It didn't give me a reason to comment on it in a written blog or a video blog that I throw up on my channel all the time. There wasn't enough emphasis on her character and or her personality, but I'm not going to go without endorsing Zendaya and immediately jump down her throat with criticism. I am going to give her time to come into her own, and hopefully probably 4 or 5 months from now, if she's still under contract with Disney trying to make a name for herself in the children's entertainment business, I will give her more credit and give her more of the benefit of the doubt in what I've chosen to do. Now, I have looked at her Facebook subscribers and her followers on Twitter. They are up there in the millions. I expected that because of how great of a singer she is. Her song Replay on the top 40 American Billboard chart rose faster than any single on the chart at the same time. It was excelling up through the chart. It was amazing seeing the progression of that song on the weekly top 40 with Rick Dees and the AT40 Countdown Show with Ryan Seacrest. Everybody was putting her over, saying she was one of the biggest stars from Disney. I don't think she falls into that category of being one of the biggest stars from Disney, because the biggest stars from Disney obviously are in the category of Miley Cyrus's and Selena Gomez's. I really enjoyed what Sabrina Carpenter brought to Girl Meets World and what Dove Cameron brought to Live with Maddie in later years. But I think those celebrities are definitely in a different category from what we're seeing from Disney now in the way of Dove Cameron's and Zendaya's and Sabrina Carpenter's. I think they are trying to come into their own, and they're trying to gain experience time in and time out. I think there's still a long way to go from the newer crop of the Disney Channel stars to excel to a level of a Selena Gomez. So I'm not going to go that far and put Zendaya immediately, almost instantaneously, in the same category of a Selena Gomez or a Demi Lovato. And if you have a file on that, you can give me your opinion on our Facebook page at HEW Entertainment, on Twitter at Jonathan Clarke1. And, it got me to thinking, what if we throw up a poll on if we were to consider Zendaya in the same category of a Miley Cyrus or a Demi Lovato? Could we get away with doing that? I think we would get a very diverse response, because just as many Miley Cyrus fans or Demi Lovato fans we have out there, we have Zendaya apparently. And some of you out there who are fans of Zendaya may not agree with my opinion. You may say to yourself, Jonathan Clarke, you are completely and utterly off your rocker for jumping down the throat of Zendaya. But I don't think I'm wrong with anything that I've said about Zendaya, because I think there is more room for criticism towards Zendaya in the way that she still has a lot of room for improvement in her career, and I think I can get away with saying that because nothing I have said is wrong or inaccurate. I'm not jumping the gun. with Zendaya. I think that if we immediately jump the criticism towards Zendaya, we are jumping to a conclusion and jumping the proverbial gun. But I think there is room for a lot of criticism that can be given to Zendaya because she still has a proving ground to get past. With how much proving ground she has already covered, I still think there's a lot for her to do, as there are for a lot of other Disney Channel stars within the same category as a Dove Cameron or Sabrina Carpenter. Now, I did drop a video blog on a Sabrina Carpenter. I'm going to get around to doing it in the coming weeks on Dove Cameron from Liv and Maddie, so look for that. I'll probably even do one on Ross Lynch and the success of R5 and Austin and Ally, which was a great show for Disney Channel. They just got back off a Canadian tour, touring R5 with Victoria Duffield. It was amazing seeing that. We got the big ticket summer concert coming from Family and Disney coming up this summer with tour dates all throughout Canada in provinces like Alberta and Newfoundland, where I reside. So I'm looking forward to that, to see how the big ticket summer concert does for Disney. But I think it's great how Disney has got back on the proverbial bandwagon and gotten behind the wheel of endorsement for stars like Zendaya, because there still is a long way for these celebrities to go, and in years to come it's going to be amazing to see these stars shine brighter than they ever have before, because the star of Zendaya is not going anywhere anytime soon, and it's going to continue to shine very brightly and going to continue to be endorsed by myself, as it is, I hope, for a lot of other video bloggers on YouTube who post the same kind of video blogs in reference of Zendaya. And I do apologize. I want to put an apology out there for not getting around to talking about Zendaya, as I have stars like Dove Cameron and Sabrina Carpenter recently. It's just nothing Zendaya was doing really interested me. Putting out one song for an EP or an album really wasn't enough. When you had someone like Ariana Grande putting out hit after hit off her first album, You're Everything, as the follow-up to her EP, which had the single The Way featuring Macmillan. You had people like Ariana Grande putting out single after single on the chart, or you had Taylor Swift winning every award she had been nominated for her album 1989 Bad Blood. So when you had stuff like that going on, you kind of didn't have room to talk about someone like Zendaya, who really wasn't of relevancy in a time where people like Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande were taking off. Along with that, you had Selena Gomez being in movies like Behaving Badly, and you had her putting out singles on the chart with Zed, called I Want You to Know, which is not doing as good as what it did in the first few weeks of its release on the chart, because it was up in the 20s on the top 40. Now it's down somewhere around 35 through 38 of a rating on the top 40 American Billboard chart. But the thing is, you had so much going on promisely for these stars you knew over the years. So who are you going to talk about first? Are you going to talk about stars you knew about for years, or are you going to talk about some star who just came in? Now, if you're a fan of the star that just came in and showed up from out of nowhere, then yeah, you're going to immediately start talking about them because you want to endorse them. Like, I recently got behind the wheel of endorsement for Zendaya and Dove Cameron. But the thing is, because you know someone like a Selena Gomez or a Demi Lovato, who are you going to talk about? You're obviously going to talk about them because you waited for something from them after they announced they were going to do nothing for Disney Channel. So when you found out they were back and they were still getting attention because of a single or a movie role or a TV show, then you obviously were going to go back to talking about them. So can you blame me for talking about someone like a Selena Gomez ever before I talked about someone like Zendaya? No, you really can't, because, you know, I was always a fan of someone like Selena Gomez. I was always a fan of someone like Demi Lovato, and to go without endorsing them, whether it be for a commercial like Demi Lovato's Sketcher commercial, which I was really skeptical on, would be kind of uncharacteristic of me, because I just can't go without giving them reconciliation for anything they do. And you may say to yourself, you know, the Demi Lovato Skechers commercial, or any commercial that Miley Cyrus may have done over the last probably couple of years, was not the best thing they did. And I got to admit to you, you know, the Demi Lovato Skechers commercial, just as Miley Cyrus raising awareness for homeless people, I was really skeptical on this. When news was first released of this, press releases on their official websites, Demi Lovato and MileyCyrus.com, I was saying to myself, you know, where have these celebrities gone? What has happened to all these Disney Channel stars, and what happens to them, more importantly, over the years? Do they go absolutely crazy? They have to do Skechers commercials or raise awareness for homeless people? I just think what it is they want to get away from what Disney or Nickelodeon told them to do and what they had to do under contractual obligations, because they wanted to convey themselves for an image they wanted to have for the future, and they all went down separate roads, and you got to respect that. And I think that's what it has a lot to do with. You know, we wonder all the time what happens out of these Disney or Nickelodeon stars, why they crack under pressure, as Demi Lovato did a couple of years back, why what happened to Miley Cyrus had to happen for her, and why she went about things the way she did when she got away from Disney in 2010 in the final season of Hannah Montana Forever, which was a great season, by the way, and she came out of it with so much promise for the future. Everybody was endorsing her, wishing her well from Disney after getting off contract, and then about 2 or 3 years after that, here she comes out with this new album produced by Bret Michaels and a different record label and goes absolutely nuts. Miley gets her own label. people, just as Demi Lovato and Selena Gomez did, but Demi Lovato and Selena Gomez didn't stray away from anything. Yes, they may have done provocative things, just as a Taylor Swift did and became some of the biggest stars in the world. Selena Gomez with the vampire fangs, Demi Lovato with a different image coming out of rehab, going to rehab, coming out of it with a different image and entirely different outlook on albums she would release in the future. But Miley Cyrus went retarded. And then because of that, because of what happened with Miley, we all started to say, what happens out of these Disney Channel stars? And I think what it comes down to, what it boils down to, the fact is there's a lot of pressure that goes with being under contract with a child's company like Disney or Nickelodeon. And after you get away from that, you don't know what to do with yourself. You lose direction. You lose sense of it. For a while, I think is the word, the terminology that you can get away with putting on this. You lose sense of your direction and you just kind of got to get it back. And I think that slowly but surely they did over the years, because they got to a pivotal point where they realized, what am I doing? Should I be doing something better with my life and career? And they turned it around before it was too late. And you got to respect that. And I don't think Zendaya is going to go the same route, just as I have said about a lot of the newer Disney Channel stars like Dove Cameron. I don't think they're going to go the same route, because they're going to look at what they're doing with their careers and say, do I really want this for mine? With such a positive image that I have now from a show like Girl Meets World or Liv and Maddie or Casey Undercover, do I really want to go about it the same way of a Miley Cyrus? Do I want to end up in that same proverbial boat? Do I want to jump the proverbial gun and have all this criticism that's being thrown their way shoved down my throat? Remember the VMA situation for Miley Cyrus, her performance with Robin Thicke, and how many people jumped down her throat because of that performance, how she wore underwear in her mouth, or how she lit up a joint on stage during the European MTV Music Video Awards a couple of years ago, and how atrocious and how ridiculous that was looked at. The VMA situation, they're never going to drop that for Miley Cyrus. And a lot of people jumped down my throat for never dropping the VMA situation with Miley Cyrus. So the thing is, no matter where criticism is, people look at it as an opportunity to criticize it. I know Perez Hilton and TMZ.com love to criticize that. So they jump at these opportunities almost instantaneously, and get the opportunity to do it, why not go for it? But the thing is, I think we need to back off a lot of people. What's interesting about my opinion about backing off some of these celebrities, a lot of people agree with me. I recently did a video blog where I told people that they had to back off Selena Gomez because of the situation, because of Justin Bieber, how she had an emotional breakdown because she had broken up with Justin Bieber, how she felt it was her fault, and people were pointing the finger at her and blaming her for what happened with Justin Bieber issuing her death threats on Twitter and Facebook. And I supported Selena Gomez in that. I told people, we have to back off of someone like Selena Gomez, because it isn't entirely all her fault, just as it isn't entirely all the faults of Demi Lovato's and other celebrities from Disney and Nickelodeon who stray down these very dark paths. And I think they can get off these dark paths and roads. It's just a matter of us supporting them and realizing, how far they have come and what they have to deal with. Walk a day in the shoes of Selena Gomez, walk a day in the shoes of Demi Lovato, walk a day in the shoes of a Miley Cyrus, and maybe then a light will turn on in your brain and you'll realize and comprehend better than what you probably did 3 or 4 years ago how difficult of a life these celebrities have to live. They can't go a day without being exposed.